everyone, and welcome back to Joshing Around Milwaukee. My name is Josh Albrecht, and with me, as always, is my good friend.
Hey, it's Josh Albrecht.
That's right, Josh Albrecht and Josh Albrecht here on Joshing Around Milwaukee, where we explore the best of our city, its vibrant culture, thriving tourism scene, and the people making it all happen. We're very, very excited to have on Suzan Fete, the co-founder and artistic director of Renaissance Theaterworks today. Suzan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
We're going to get into everything about Renaissance Theaterworks and some of the upcoming projects that you guys have been working on. But before we do that, Josh, there's a lot of stuff happening in the theater district, and you have some things to talk about.
Well, yeah, the Milwaukee Theater District is technically a few years old right now, if you will, as far as an initiative and a formalized collective of the theaters and performing arts groups in the downtown here in Milwaukee. And there's literally always something going on. Year-round, the theater district is alive. It's thriving. It's vibrant. I don't know if you know this, Josh, but it is per capita has more seats than any other theater district in this country.
I did not know that, but also I'm not surprised because it's just another great thing about Milwaukee.
Yeah, people are always shocked to learn that how vibrant and how many seats we have. Like there's so many different venues, whether it's the Pabst Theater, whether it's Marcus Center Performing Arts, the Symphonies Theater. It's just the list goes on. And we're not even at this point, we're not even including Fiserv Forum or UW Panther Arena, which can also host theater and live performances and music and stuff. So this is just the standard theater that you imagine in your brain when you first hear theater, not arenas. So add in those arenas, we are second to none in theater capacity.
I love it.
In our downtown core, which is just great. So, which is why all the theaters came together a few years ago, and we really wanted to showcase and highlight these events. So everything from Aziz Ansari is coming, right? Next month.
Aziz.
If you're a fan of his comedy, he's coming to the theater district. He'll be at the Riverside Theater coming up soon. And the Milwaukee Rep doing a huge renovation, new theater, all kinds of renovations. They've got the last 5 years coming up. That's a performance they've got coming here in the next month. The War and Treaty coming to Turner Hall.
Very cool.
Great bands. Had some Grammys last year. They were at Summerfest last summer too.
Yes, they
if you
were.
didn't catch them, you can catch them at Turner Hall coming up this next month. Dwight Yoakam and the Mavericks coming to the Miller High Life Theater.
I love
one of the oldest theaters in the theater district.
Yeah.
It's where Teddy Roosevelt once gave a speech after getting shot. Did you know that?
I was not aware of that.
Yes. You didn't know that story?
I didn't know that
Did you know
story.
that story,
I
Susan?
did, yeah. It was cool.
It's an amazing story that Teddy Roosevelt was shot on the streets of Milwaukee, was like, I'm not stopping. I'm giving the speech still. Gave the speech with a bullet in his chest.
Amazing. I mean, not a great look for the city in that time, but it is a cool story.
Well, amazing story. Like
if we could apologize to
obviously. We did.
I mean, we didn't do it like you and I were.
Yeah, this was years ago. Yeah, this wasn't recent. And then Martha Graham Dance Company coming to the Marcus Performing Arts Center, a beautiful venue as well, hosting all kinds of cultural, different theater performances, as well as Broadway shows that come through the Marcus Center. So, and I'd be remiss if I didn't give a little plug for Visit Milwaukee's Christian Yelich charity concert that we do with Christian Yelich and his family every year. That's coming up at the Pabst Theater on April 17th. So lots of really, really great things happening in the theater district beyond what we're going to learn about today.
Yeah. Tons of great stuff. The Christian Yelich event last year was amazing. Definitely looking forward to that again. And looking forward to learning more about Renaissance Theaterworks with Suzan right now. Suzan, I got to start with, before we started, we were talking about your last name and how it is pronounced Fete. When I was reading, I was like, is it Fete, F-E-T-E? And you said Fete. And that's awesome. And
I blame it on my husband. He's my husband's a doctor, and because of the way the name is spelled, when he did pediatrics, they all called him Dr. Party. So he was like, "Yeah, we're not going to do that."
Yeah,
so.
that's not gonna.
I don't know. That seems like a good nickname.
Yeah. I mean, depending on your goal.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get right into it and talk a little bit about Renaissance Theaterworks. You started in 1993, and the biggest focus is on gender equity and putting these women's stories center stage. Tell us a little bit about how you came to the idea of doing this and really wanted to push forward with that focus.
Well, myself and the other 4 co-founders, Marie Kohler, Michelle Treban, Raylene McMillian, and Jennifer Rupp, all got together in Marie's kitchen. And we were talking about we wanted more opportunities for women in professional theater. And we were young and kind of foolish and thought, well, why don't we start our own theater? And at that time, Theater X was still a big mover and shaker. This is before y'all's time. But they were really a groundbreaking theater company here in Milwaukee years ago. And they were doing a women's theater festival. And they said, well, you guys got something for the festival, bring it. So then we actually had to do something.
Sure, right.
There's nothing like a deadline.
Of course.
Like, well, heck, now I got to do it. So our first play was A Different Moon in 1993. And we've grown slowly but steadily to one of the more significant professional theaters here in Milwaukee. So we're really proud of that.
Looking back on that first decision, that first play to perform, right? Like, what was that conversation like? Do you remember, like, which one, like, how difficult was it to choose the first?
It was really hard, and I was like 9 months pregnant. So what happened? So it's like how I can always track it. How old is my kid? You know. And the name Renaissance Theaterworks, which is a bit of a mouthful, and our first show was decided because we were all stuck in a room and I had to eat. So I was like, look, I don't care what y'all say, call it anything. Let's decide on this show because Mama's got to eat. So that's kind of how
that's a great story.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to some of the stuff that is new that you guys are working on in a little bit, but I wanted to ask, what is it about these stories and these performances that sets what you guys do apart from all the other amazing opportunities in the city for people to see theater?
Well, one of the things that we do at Renaissance is most people aren't aware that 20%, all of the theater that's produced in the United States, only 20% of the theater that's produced is written by women. It's hard to say that in a concise, clear way. Now, we know that women playwrights make up 51% of the total playwrights. So somehow things are not getting to the production stage, So we try to help get to broaden the canon and make sure that everybody's stories are told, and not just women, people of color, people of different ethnicities, people of different abilities. And so that's our mission, is to bring everybody's stories to the foreground.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hearing those percentages is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like 20% is only performed, but 51% is being written.
And that would be like if out of every 5 words you heard, only one was said by a woman. And we know that that is not the way things work.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, that's very cool that you guys focused on that and the amazing work you guys have done for as long as you have. And we're really excited to talk about the upcoming show that you guys have. And we're going to do that when we get back from this short break on Joshing Around Milwaukee. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Joshing Around Milwaukee. We are having so much fun talking to Suzan Fete, the co-founder and artistic director of Renaissance Theaterworks. And we're talking about all the great things to do in Milwaukee. And one of them, of course, is to always go to the Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. Remember, this March at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, shake for a share of $300K in cash and prizes with the Roll for Riches game show. Thursdays in March. For more info, go online. Must be 21 years or older to play. So I wanted to talk, Suzan, about, we teased it a little bit, but the upcoming show that you have, Buyer and Cellar, is going to be out on March 21st is when it starts, right? Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about Buyer and Cellar?
Buyer and Cellar is one of the funniest plays I have ever read. I believe it's the longest running comedy in New York, not on Broadway, but just in general. Yeah, I read it for the first time, I want to say 2013, and I remember it because, side note, my mom had cardiac surgery, and I had brought her to cardiac rehab, and to pass the time I was reading the play, and I laughed so loud that people came out of cardiac rehab and were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a play about an out-of-work actor that gets the oddest of odd jobs. He gets a phone call to see if he would like to work as sort of like a handyman / market person, salesperson in Barbara Streisand's pretend marketplace in her basement. Now,
This concept is amazing.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand really does have this. It's like, if you can imagine not Old World Wisconsin, but Streets of Milwaukee
Yes.
meets Funny Girl.
Okay.
So she has, this part's true. She has all of her memorabilia from Funny Girl, the beautiful dresses, and she also has a toy store and a popcorn place and a frozen yogurt. Now,
Well, of course.
this is just all in case she decides she wants to come downstairs. And so this poor
What a
guy is got to sit down there in case the lady of the house decides that she wants to appear and she wants to play with someone. It's like playing store with, but someone you pay to do it. And so he's a huge Barbra Streisand fan. And he takes the job and he's down there like totally geeking out over all the cool stuff. And then one day the lady herself comes down the stairs. And that's what the story's about.
That's awesome.
Now, is this a one-person play?
It is, yeah. Doug Clements is brilliant. He and I have been talking about doing this show pre-pandemic. He said, I don't know if you're aware of this play, but, and the way I know about the Barbra Streisand stuff is she wrote a book, and I'm not going to remember the name of it. I always want to call it by the wrong name, but it was her design book when she designed her palace in Malibu.
Sure.
And when you open the book, you see this Main Street marketplace
All laid out.
Yeah. Like it's normal,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's so much fun and super interesting. Also, I feel like I'd take that job.
Oh, for sure.
Me
too.
Like if that job
Say goodbye to your wife and
hey,
kids, and you would say, hey,
look the check's in the mail. That's all you cared about anyway.
He gets to come home at night.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have to
No,
live there.
I was envisioning he lived there permanently.
Yeah, what about if she wanted some frozen yogurt at 3 a.m. or something?
There are occasions in the play where she asks him to stay late.
Yeah,
That's
no
very
spoilers.
undefined.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And the show premieres on March 21st, right? That's the opening. And how long will it run?
It runs through April 13th.
Okay.
And preview is March 21st. Opening is actually the 23rd.
Okay. And now that's not the only show of the season, right? Is there if there's other stuff that you guys had already done or that is coming up? Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Sure. We opened our season. This is Byron Cellar will be our last show of this season. We opened with The Moors in October and by Jen Silverman, and our last show was The Nether by Jennifer Halley, and they were both more dramatic pieces. This is a straight up comedy, and then lastly in May we will do our Brink New Play Festival at the Baumgartner Center for Dance. So we're really excited about that too.
And what does that entail? What is that all going to be about?
This is our 11th year to do Brink, and we solicit plays all year round from women people who identify as women in the Midwest to send us their plays, and we choose 2 to be workshopped. It's a challenge for playwrights to get their work out of their head and heard out loud. So Brink is the way that we support women in the Midwest are doing that. There are programs on both coasts and a couple in Chicago, but none here except for ours.
That's very cool.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love that.
So as you look at the seasons, like planning the season, how far in advance do you plan for next season, the season after?
Well, we have selected our season for next year, but it's not announced till the 17th. But, and I would love to tell you guys, but I can't.
Top secret.
Top secret. I get in big trouble.
Yeah, well, we don't want that. But we do have a few more questions for you, and we want to find out and give some information to people on how they can get involved with Renaissance Theaterworks. And we're going to do that when we come back on Joshing Around Milwaukee. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Joshing Around Milwaukee. We're having a great time with Suzan Fete, the co-founder and artistic director of Renaissance Theaterworks, on today's show.
Yeah, it's been a really fun conversation. I was trying to guess the new season. I guessed Harvey. You said no.
No, maybe someday. I love that play.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a classic. But I hope that also you do Arsenic and Old Lace. I told you I was in that in high school.
Too. Yeah, hey,
so
let's talk.
Trying to bring back my favorites from my bygone theater days.
Yeah, trying to relive the glory days.
That's right. Yes, I will star as Mortimer. What I did want to ask, though, is obviously making theater accessible to all is part of your mission, and sort of making sure that the physicalness of the theater is important as well, like how people can use the theater and have access into the theater. So whether that's wheelchair accessibility or assisted listening devices, how does Renaissance Theaterworks assist people coming as spectators?
Well, we are so fortunate to have a great partner with Next Act Theater, and we share the space at 255 South Water with Next Act, and they had made great strides before we moved in there at making that space the most accessible theater in town. It is all on one level. So not only is it accessible for patrons, it's accessible for actors who have mobility issues. And they had installed a state-of-the-art hearing loop system. So if once you're in the theater, your hearing aids automatically key into the system.
That's very cool.
It's so cool. And we have sensory-friendly performances, so people that aren't neurotypical can enjoy theater. And because there's not a lot of opportunities for adults who fit that description to be able to see theater. So we want to try to remove that barrier. And we have one performance for the visually impaired, where I think this is so cool. Amazing. And I love the way we do it. That so you wear a headset and someone is describing the things, because of course blind people can hear and they hear all the lines, but sometimes you can feel left out because you've missed a visual cue. Someone shrugged their shoulders or stormed off, and so it's timed so that and ours is done by the melodious Jane Pink, who has the best voice in the whole world. And she's saying, well, now he is leaving the stage and everyone is laughing, so it's really fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
I would love to hear a guest performance by you, Josh.
Yeah.
Describing a play.
Can you imagine like a play by, okay, no, I think no, hold on. No. They are doing that. Sorry, forget what I said before. Yes, they're laughing now. Now they're still laughing. Is this good? You guys enjoying it? So talk to us a little bit on the way out here on how people can get involved and make Renaissance Theaterworks a part of their lives.
Well, you can subscribe to our next season. You can come see our show, Buyer and Cellar. The box office phone number is 414-278-0765 to buy tickets. Come to our website, RTWMKE, and I think I said that right. And learn all about us, or give me a call, and I'm happy to talk about it all day long. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Suzan. And if you're looking for more information on Renaissance Theaterworks or on Joshing Around Milwaukee, make sure to go to visitmilwaukee.org. That's all for today's show. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Hi, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us here on Joshing Around Milwaukee. If you're seeing this segment of today's show, it's because you're watching on our podcasts or our YouTube channel or anything else that's out there through Visit Milwaukee. We appreciate you doing so. We're having a great time with Suzan Fete, the co-founder and artistic director of Renaissance Theaterworks. Thanks for sticking with us.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a really fun conversation. But every time we have a guest in the studio, we would love to talk about Milwaukee, right? Obviously, Visit Milwaukee specializes in bringing people to the community and letting them see all the amazing things happening around the community. So we like to say we've got a lot of fresh city vibes right now, a lot of cool things happening, a lot of good momentum in the city. What's giving you fresh city vibes right now in the city?
Well, the one thing that came to mind right away is, and it's a theater thing because I have no life otherwise, but it's the play that's being produced right now at Next Act Theater, whom we share the space with, and it's The Children by Lucy Kirkwood. And one of the things that's so wonderful about theater in Milwaukee is that people don't think about a lot is that we all get to live in a city full of artists because there are so many local theater that employs artists that so they can live here. And you see them at the grocery store, and that's fun and cool. And so Next Act has produced The Children, which is a really fascinating drama about some contemporary issues. I don't want to give any of the plot away.
Sure.
It's directed by my good friend Marie Kohler, who was one of the Renaissance co-founders, and it stars a lot of great actors, so y'all should get out and see it because it's really, really awesome.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. The theater district also has a lot of great restaurants, right? People make a night of theater.
Yes.
It's not just going to the theater performance, but like part of the experience is maybe the pre-show dinner, maybe the post-show drinks. You got any favorite
dinner and a show?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Amalinda, and it's one of my favorite places. And my answer was going to be the new Korean restaurant that's in the Coquette's old space, and I can't think of the name of it. So maybe you guys can. We just went there on Valentine's Day, and it was awesome. And I'm old, and I can't remember things the way I used to. But yes, let's find it, and you should all go because it was amazing.
I know so many people love to maybe stop by St. Kate, hit the lobby
really
bar.
Fun. Yeah,
that's always a great
absolutely.
experience. And obviously, the whole downtown corridor is filled with those things. So we hope people can come to downtown Milwaukee, check out a great show, go get a dinner out, maybe stay the night downtown.
There's so much.
Yeah.
We're just drowning in riches here. We really are. Yeah. And it's so fortunate.
And people just need to take, one opportunity to give it a try. It might not, a lot of people like to get in their routines. Take one night, set one night aside, and then, you could fall in love with just one of the many things that the city has to offer, like the theater district. Well, thank you, Suzan. I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate everyone for watching another episode of Joshing Around Milwaukee. And if you're looking for past episodes, they're probably right below this one. So you could just either let it autoplay or check them out if you have time. We appreciate it. And as always, for more information, go to visitmilwaukee.org. Thanks so much.